Shut up and sit down.
It's where the big boys play. Sicw.
127. Sorry, I just got a text from my other life, and it is dumb. So, yeah, what's going on, everybody? I lost my place, so go ahead, take over. Now, we're going to keep it down to 45 minutes. I'm going to be mean and I'm going to be rude, and you guys can comment all you want because I think it's funny, and I couldn't really give a shit. Hey, we put 30 seconds. I could say it.
Hey, you know, we got to have some kind of structure too. So, I mean, you're mean, we all get it, but it needs to be done, I guess.
Hey, it's nasty for a reason.
All right, we'll just knock it off here real quick then. So this past Saturday, we did have a show down in Fairmont City. Man, it was booked solid. Matter of fact, there are so many, they sell them by the tables there as well. All the tables are sold out. And then the chairs was for like general admission, and all those were sold out. So it was a packed house Saturday. Of course, we were missing Bobby D. We were missing quite a few. Our champion, Beretta, wasn't there either. Main event, though, was me and Glenn Williams. It was a great match. I was beating him down pretty good through the whole match. Yes.
Wait a minute. I thought Glenn Williams was the chop master. What happened?
No. Chop master. You chop receiver? Chop receiver, maybe. But Trent Williams was out there with him too, which helped screw me over. And Glenn Williams was able to grab my Brandon iron and actually hit me over the head with it, which allowed him to get the pin. But I got retribution later on that night because at the end of the night, there was a battle royal. And it got down to Jake Lawless from Ohio Valley Wrestling. It got down to me, Trent Williams, and Trent Daniels and Glenn Williams. Of course, it's me versus three heels. That's a nice picture.
I was wondering how long it'd take him to notice.
But so Lawless came running at me. Of course, I just flipped him over the ropes, got him out. Then Trent and Glenn tried to double up on me, which it worked for a little while, but I managed to get Trent over. And then Glenn, I dodged something from Glenn. Glenn hit Trent, so Trent got knocked over. And it kind of set it up because I was easily able to knock Glenn over the ropes after he had already had the momentum going and hitting Trent. So I just grabbed his head, ran it to the corner post, and he fell out too. They tried to get even with me after I was declared the winner. They waited until my back was turned. They slid back into the ring and tried to beat me up again. But that didn't work because I was able to give each of them a lariat and knocked them out of their boots. So it went very well for Team Texan Saturday night. But it was, even though he's a heel and a shitty person right now, Jake Lawless, it was nice to see him back in the SICW ring. He is part of the trifecta group that Brandon Beretta is part of. So you can see what kind of person he is. But I admit it was nice to see him back in SICW locker room. Which gets me to the pay-per-view, because WWE had a pay-per-view Saturday. It plus the negatives, it had 5 matches. So you think a pay-per-view would have more than 5 matches, because Raw has 5 matches. So you would think their pay-per-view, they would go all out. We talked about a few weeks ago how Roman Reigns has got the same contract basically as Brock Lesnar, except for Brock Lesnar wins all of his matches and Roman Reigns loses all of his matches, and that's exactly what happened. He had a match against Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed, it was a street fight match, and that was right up Bronson Reed's alley. So he took the pin. I mean, he didn't took the pin. He pinned Roman Reigns. Let's see here. The best match. So there was Reed versus Roman. There was Stratton versus I'm gonna butcher her name. Valkyria. Valkyria. Cena versus AJ Styles, and then Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors, and then Rollins and Rhodes. Hands down, the standout match was John Cena versus AJ Styles. You know, John Cena has 5 more matches or 5 more pay-per-views basically. Actually, no, it's 5 more matches.
He's always announced it as appearances, not matches.
Yeah, so it's
like
5
if he
more
shows up on Raw and talks, that counts as one.
Yeah. But man, that was the standout match. John Cena, AJ Styles. Now AJ Styles has announced that he's going to retire soon too. I think 2026 is going to be his last year. But man, what a killer match they had. It was all back and forth. You know, John Cena gets a lot of heat on him, saying that he's like Hulk Hogan. He only knows 3 moves. Well, he showed in that match on that pay-per-view that he knows a whole lot of wrestling that he just doesn't showcase on a normal match. But that match, he paid tribute to Bray Wyatt. He got AJ Styles in that finishing hold where Bray used to cross around. Yeah, the Sister Abigail. Did that. They did the spot where AJ Styles had Cena on his back, and Cena, goozled AJ Styles, and then got him into a choke slam, and even put Tombstone on him. So Cena was paying tributes to a lot of people, and then so was AJ Styles. They are taking the finishers of all the greats. Like AJ Styles did the Sweet Chin music, where he stood in the corner and actually tuned up the band and then hit him with a super kick. So it was a great match, and I highly recommend, if you haven't caught that pay-per-view, just, go and watch it for that match alone. The other main event basically was Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, champion versus champion. At one part of the match, Seth Rollins tried to do a coast to coast. Rob Van Dam used to do it, but he would do feet first and kick the opponent. So he would be in one corner, and then Seth climbed up the other corner and went coast to coast. But he went head first into Cody Rhodes. And when he landed, from then on out, it seemed legit that he hurt his arm. When the announcers don't really acknowledge it, but you see him favoring it, he wasn't supposed to hurt himself, but he did. But that match went back and forth as well. Really good match. Throughout the whole match, there was no cheating really involved. There was no outside interference. Seth Rollins did wear this Rolex that Cody gave him like a couple of years ago at a WrestleMania. And that was like, they were talking about that the last couple of Monday nights. He would go out to the ring and say, remember when you gave me this Rolex? It really meant a lot to me. And he used that Rolex to cold cock Cody Rhodes for the victory. But he did it on his own. And the champions like Valkyria, she won because it was her versus Stratton. They were both champions. So they each got another belt and a ring. So Seth Rollins got a new belt and a ring as well. But that leads us to Monday Night Raw. Now, Raw was actually pretty good too. So I got to give props to WWE for 2 back-to-back programs. The pay-per-view and then Monday Night Raw. I'll just run down Penta versus Dom. a very good match. I like how they're teasing the Eddie Guerrero type of finishes that Dom is doing now, and he did another one where he used the ring hammer bell, the hammer that dings the ring to show who won. He used that, and he did it in a way that Eddie Guerrero used to do. So that was a kind of cool thing where bringing something back from the past. Rhea Ripley went against was it Kyria? I'm going to butcher that name, but she's part of the Kabuki Warriors. Not man, I can't pronounce either one. Kara.
Dakota Sky, and then the little one. What's her name?
Yeah, that's who she went up against. But Io
It's that
Sky.
Kyrie thing.
Well,
That
it's
Kyrie thing.
the Kabuki Warriors is a group of 3 Chinese women that tag together.
Japanese.
Japanese, but they are in the
Kairi
midst of
Sane.
breaking up. Yeah, so she went against Rhea Ripley. As Kara, how do you pronounce that other girl's name?
Kairi Sane.
No, the other girl. Asuka.
Asuka.
Asuka. So Asuka was out there, even though she wasn't in the match. Io Sky was out there, even though she wasn't in the match. But after Rhea Ripley won, Asuka ended up getting a hold of Rhea Ripley and DTing her on the announcer's table. So it looks like that feud is going to carry on. Bronson Reed went against Jimmy Uso. There was another ladies match with Bailey and Lyra and versus Raquel and Perez. But what I want to get to is the main event. So out of all the matches, actually, as I was talking to Nate beforehand, it wasn't even a match that made Monday Night Raw. It was what happened after the fact. But the match was CM Punk versus LA Knight versus Jey Uso, which it determined the number 1 contender to Seth Rollins. And CM Punk became the winner, but Bronson Reed and his partner
Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker came out and demolished all 3 of those guys. And then Seth Rollins came out and they was talking about how Seth Rollins through the whole night was building up Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker about how good they are and how he's got the vision and his vision's going to go on. And but a swerve moment, Braun Breaker went to the corner where the other 3, Seth and Bronson and even Paul Heyman were still by themselves. And all of a sudden, he speared Seth Rollins. So a member of the team speared Seth Rollins. So that immediately broke up the team. And Braun Breaker told Bronson, "Are you staying with him or are you going with me?" And Bronson didn't say anything but grabbed Seth Rollins and then went up to the top and came down with a tsunami. So basically, they're breaking off. And Paul Heyman looked so distraught, I can't believe you guys just did that. But at the end, Bronson and Breaker looked at Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman smiled, and they all hugged. So it was them versus Seth Rollins anyway. So it was a big swerve that his team basically broke off in front of him. But we are talking about this the last few Monday Night Raws because I always felt that those 2 were in a better place without Seth Rollins. And now I guess WWE is behind them to allow them to break off from Seth Rollins. And now moving forward, they're going to be main eventers. But there's a twist because fans posted pictures with Seth Rollins Saturday night after the pay-per-view, and his arm was in a sling. So they didn't say anything about it on Monday, but it's just speculation on the internet that he's actually really hurt and that they broke off from him because Seth is not going to be on TV for a while. So
Well, Sports Illustrated put out that he hurt his shoulder.
yeah, so if he's got to go on for shoulder surgery or something like that, he might be out for a couple months. And they wanted to get them out from underneath his shadow and get them going, before they could, before he just says, "Hey, I'm leaving, guys." But very cool. So that was like the highlight of Monday Night Raw. Cena AJ Styles was the highlight of the pay-per-view. There is another pay-per-view that I want to talk about, TNA, real quick. We don't talk a lot about TNA or AEW, but we're going to touch on both of them. TNA had Bound for Glory, which is like their second biggest pay-per-view. And it was really good. The highlight of that, they had more matches than WWE, but want to go over the World Championship switched hands. Trick Williams versus Mike Santana. Mike Santana won it. So he is the new TNA World Champion. There was a hardcore war, as they called it, the System versus Order 4. Brian Myers is part of the System, and that was a really good match. They had thumbtacks, chairs, and everything. And there's a girl in the System, and they actually, the Order 4 got her in the thumbtacks and went to do like this 450 off the top rope onto her, and she was able to move, and that guy just face planted all in the thumbtacks. Very cool little spot. So that's a cool match to kind of look at. They had a call your shot gauntlet, which is basically a Royal Rumble. But they had some very cool spots in it. Matt Cardona was in it. There was I can't think of his name now. Who was the guy in WWE that was part of the Spirit Squad?
Kenny Dykstra?
No, Dolph Ziggler. I can't think of his actual name that he's going by now.
Nick Nemeth.
Him and his brother were involved in it, and it actually got down to them. But that was a very cool match. But the match I wanted to talk about and really want to spend the rest of the time talking about TNA about was the Hardy Boys is currently the TNA champions, tag team champions. But also they're currently the NXT tag team champions. And they actually had a match against the Dudley Boys. And the Dudley Boys announced that was going to be their last match. So they plan to retire after that match, regardless if they won or didn't win. Now, if you guys, I know Bobby does, but back in the day, the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys is basically what made the whole TLC pay-per-views a thing. Tables, ladders, and chairs.
Oh, my.
Now, of course, Edge and Christian are not in TNA, so they couldn't have that. Next best thing, though, is the Hardys versus the Dudley Boys. And it was really cool. You had, it was like a throwback to the era that I really cared about, the Attitude Era of WWE. So you had Jeff Hardy on a very tall-ass ladder, doing his spot onto Devon, who was on the table, on the walkway going up to the rings. They had so many table spots, chair shots. They really went at it. But at the end of the day, the Hardy Boys still retain their championships. But what's special about that match is afterwards, the Hardys went to walk away, and both Devon and Bubba stopped them, and they unlaced their boots. And most wrestlers, when they retire, they leave their boots in the middle of the ring and then walk away. Instead of doing that, they took their boots off and handed them to the Hardy Boys, which just made it even more special. So, that's a a classic match that's going to be rewatched over and over again because it's the last match of the Dudley Boys. So yeah, definitely, if you haven't seen Bound for Glory, it has a lot of good matches in it. Their battle royal, basically their gauntlet match, was really good. Even Mike Santana, who I don't follow, Trick Williams I know because he was part of NXT for a while, but they had an awesome match. And like I said, I don't follow TNA too much, but evidently Mike Santana's had a hard last year of injuries and being out and coming back and fighting through, and was able to accomplish his goal of being the heavyweight champion. Now, I didn't know this, but Mike Santana was also like, he didn't start in TNA when TNA first started, but Bobby, if you remember Conan's group, it was what, this 187 or something like that. I think it was what they were called in TNA. He was in that group, so he had been in TNA for a long ass time. Yeah, so that was it. One more thing to talk about on WWE, and then we'll move on. As the pay-per-view was going on the internet, it was going wild because WWE released 12 wrestlers from the company, and most of them were all developmental. They were either in NXT or they were in the LJN, Future Legends and Greats, that TV show that we had talked about before. But they were released 12, and on their website it says they released them as part of WWE's ongoing strategy to refresh their roster and promote new talent. I didn't quite grasp that because they were all new talent. So literally all 12 wrestlers were new wrestlers. So, you let them go and said it's because you need to refresh and get new talent, but they were new talent. So I don't get that. One of them, I'll just do it. One of them was related to Roman Reigns and Lance Ananawi, which is the Usos, Roman Reigns, and evidently this guy got signed to NXT and kept getting injured. So instead of waiting around for him to be cleared to go and everything, they just let him go, which I thought was pretty weird because normally it seems like if you're related to The Rock, your life is set in stone in the WWE, but evidently not for him. So they let him go. But so let's talk about SICW. SICW is back on the road. We're going to Breeze this Saturday.
I am cleared and ready to go.
So you're going to be there?
I will be there.
That is awesome. So I only know one match, and that's this match right here. So it's going to be a headline versus Sean Vincent versus Glenn Williams in a strap match. So this should be very interesting. So it's almost like teacher versus student again. I say this all the time. When I was teaching at Bob Orton's school and Sean was also teaching, there was one student, there was a couple that I couldn't stand, but Glenn was one of them. But Sean really took to Glenn and Glenn took to Sean. So that would explain everything. But now those two can't stand those two can't stand each other. So now it's one more time with them in a strap match. So that should be very interesting.
I can't stand either one, so I can't wait to see them beat the hell out of each other.
That's so true. But that's
you better get some revenge on Saturday, Bobby, since it's happened the same day as WWE in St. Louis, or AEW in St. Louis. Sorry, Tony.
So yeah, that leads pretty much into also AEW is going to be in town. Now, I was talking about how AEW is so much family friendly versus WWE, and I say that because of the ticket prices. And before we hit record, me and Nate were talking about the ticket prices. And what did you say? They still have tickets for $34 a piece?
Well, 34 or 38 in the top, and then Ticketmaster's processing fees for doing absolutely nothing is, 20, $25 for that. But around the floor, they don't have any more for face value. Those were like between 300 and 900. So the resellers have got those prices up to 1,800 a ticket, which is still really not that bad. It's only double. But somebody's going to pay 1,500 a ticket for that.
Yeah,
The processing fees for Ticketmaster are insane, though. $700 for processing fees is freaking insane and stupid. They don't do. I mean, Missouri used to have a cap on prices that resellers can charge for tickets, and they did away with that, so they can charge whatever the market predicts.
I'm sure it's still cheaper than front row at Raw.
right.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
and
a lot cheaper by $13,000.
Well, and then really you don't compare it to Raw. This is on a Saturday, so I assume it's a pay-per-view.
no, it's their Saturday's Collision. So it's just
It says Wrestle Dream.
yeah,
not Collision.
it's still like, oh, it's Wrestle Dream, so it is a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's a pay-per-view.
I'm sure they'll probably still record Collision there too, because I think Collision is also done on Saturdays. And like most times when you go to AEW, you're gonna see an hour of Ring of Honor, you're gonna see an hour of Collision, and then whatever else they got going on. So you still, for the money, it's gonna be a great show to go to, because you're gonna get 4 hours of wrestling, multiple different talents, from Ring of Honor and then AEW, and then the main events of
And
AEW.
actually be able to see some wrestling, not just exposition that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's a bad and a good thing. I haven't missed an AEW show in forever, but to miss one, I'm glad I'm working SICW, because I'll be actually working instead of just spectating. So that's a good way to do it. But if you're not going to Breeze, Illinois to watch SICW, I would say hit up AEW. They're in town, St. Louis. I think they only come once or twice a year, so this is a good time to go see them. But definitely, hands down, on the money value, Breeze would be your best option to come see us and Bobby D, Big Texan, Sean Vincent. I don't know if our champion Brandon Barreto will be there, but matter of fact, I think he is going to be there. I don't know who he'll be facing. Maybe you'll have your return match, Bobby.
Maybe.
You never know. But yeah, so it's going to be a good time regardless. But yeah, so that's the big three, TNA, WWE, and AEW. And then you can count us as the big four, SICW. So.
And the two big daddies right there, huh?
Yeah, I think we're moving along pretty well. So I don't think there's
Now let's
anything.
get on to a month from now, yeah?
Oh yeah, we can hit this up. Yeah. So
It's like you need to get a little nastier, Nate. You're not pushing and being mean enough.
I'm just
Well,
going
that's
quick.
because we still have 17 minutes, so
Well,
we're shooting for 45. We'll get it down. We'll get it down. So,
I think we need some nastiness throughout the show, though.
oh, okay. I'll work on that for next week. We've run promotions on our Instagram page through the last few years, and the best one we've done so far was in collaboration with your friend Jim for this, where we've had a ton of people when we entered into, I guess, the sharing or whatever it is that Instagram does, where he invited us to join, and we went ahead and joined, and a ton of people have responded well to this so far.
I mean, yeah. I mean, this right now, this is, I guess you would say this is the season for toy conventions. Summertime is over. People are running out of things to do. So, like, there was Comic-Con in St. Louis this past weekend. There was the Toyman show that I hit up last month. And next month is this guy right here, is the Collector Fest, the Shriners Collector Fest. We still have a championship gold in our group, and that is Bobby D. He's the Shriners champion. So it's no better person to go to the Shriners Collector Fest than the Shriners champion. But
You gonna
the
have the
whole,
belt there for people to take a picture with, Bobby?
I
yeah,
will
I'm
have
sure.
it there.
Yeah. But
Jim,
yeah,
you have the
so
belt too, don't you, from being the first Shriners champion?
I do. I don't like to talk about it though, because I don't want to give it back. But
Okay, we'll leave that one home.
yeah.
I'll bring the I-300 belt along with it.
There you go. So we'll have 2 championships you can take pictures with. But yeah, so it's a cool collab. You got the Square Ring podcast and the Shriners Collector Fest joining groups. So we are going to be the host. What's the saying? The host with the most. We have already been
Host with the most
pre-approved
gold.
to talk to the people that they're bringing in. And I don't have my glasses on, so you can read out their names again and what they're a
Bill
part of.
Reinhold, Bauer, and Linda Leslie.
Yeah, so you got a voice actor, you got 2 comic book illustrators, and we get to interview them, sit down with them, spend a few minutes with them, talking about what got them into the business, either being the voice acting for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that type of groupage. And then the other 2 people are the comic book illustrators for Amazing Spider-Man and what was that lady's Dracula?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did Amazing Spider-Man too. She did some illustrations for them.
Very cool that we get to meet up with them and talk to them. But we'll talk to everyone that's coming by. I seen that they're doing that D&D, which next week I'll probably have them here. But I ordered a few things from D&D. I had bought a couple figures of the new series from D&D, and the more I looked at them, the more I didn't like them, just because they were so new. So I did want to dabble in that toy line, so I went back to the old stuff and ordered a couple items, and they'll be here sometime this week, so I'll go over next week with you. But they're doing a D&D thing out there. Plus, they're doing a Hot Wheels race. What were you gonna say, Nate?
I said at Hot Wheels.
Yeah, you can bring your own Hot Wheels cars. So if you know how to zoop those things up or get those where the wheels are spinning faster, you can bring your own Hot Wheels, or they supply Hot Wheels there too. But there's going to be races.
I think I do have some graphite from my kids' Pinewood Derby from a couple years ago.
There you go.
Graphite, some springs, some hidden weights in the front.
I got plenty of fishing weights.
Awesome. Now we're telling all the people how to cheat, but I guess they'll probably
an old
figure
saying:
that out.
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So,
but there's going to be
it's
some
just like the Olympics. Or if you're a guy that can't hack it in a male sport, you identify as a female. There you go.
Ooh, that's opening up a big can of worms right there. Anyhow,
what? It's not wrong. I'm not wrong, so they can eat that worm.
If you're into collecting just about everything from Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, to collecting action figures like I am, everything. He-Man, G.I. Joes. I started my I started my couple lines. I started my Street Sharks there, and I started my Gargoyles collection there. So you never know what you're going to find there, but I'm definitely going to be after some wrestling figures. But I also need.
What about, because Magic the Gathering just put out their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle box set, might be there too.
Yeah, I don't know. I did play Magic the Gathering when I was younger. Growing up with my older brother and his friends, they played a lot of D&D, and then when that moved on, they picked up Magic and started doing Magic. As a matter of fact, one of my sons still plays Magic to this day. And he was kind of geeked when I found my old cards from Series 1 and Series 2 and gave it to him, because those were cards that the people that play now don't really get to see and get to use in their decks. So he got
to sell them for a lot of money.
He probably did. I don't know, but I gave it to him. So moving on from that, let's throw out the date. November 15th. You can get there early at 9 o'clock, pay an extra $5, or you can get there at 10 o'clock and pay $5 for the whole day. But it's basically 10 to 4 unless you pay that extra $5 to get in that hour early. Which $10 to get in and get first dibs on the stuff you want is a pretty good deal.
Yep.
But yeah, so you can see the address on the flyer there. It's over in St. Louis. It's going to be a great time.
Easy road.
But Bobby, do you have anything? I know we showed your box off last week. No?
Well,
All right.
I did get this Coors Light.
So it's time for Jim's second favorite activity. The first one is massaging men with essential oils. Second one is this, toys.
Well, you don't know me too well. This will be the first thing. The other one second. No.
Depends what day of the week it is.
I did a bunch of eBay purchases, and for they all pretty much will gather around the same stuff, which is Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. So
I remember that. I remember that.
I picked up a book. Of course, it was a Saturday morning cartoon.
You got that for 39 cents?
No, I wish it was 39 cents. I think I paid $12 for it, but it's still mint. And it's one of those old school 3D ones. So it does come with the 3D glasses. Of course, I'm probably just going to buy another set of 3D glasses so I don't have to use the one that's in the book. And it's just set up like a comic book, which I thought was very cool. But everything from the Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling is very collectible right now, especially with his passing. I mean, it was collectible before he passed, but now if you find his items at a decent price or a cheap price, I would say pick them up. Also picked up a puzzle from the same era, the Rock and Roll Wrestling. Very cool. Now, there's some people on Facebook that are currently making these figures because no real figures. I mean, they made what they call erasers, but it wasn't based off the cartoon figures. It was just based off of them in real life. So the Hulk Hogan looks like what Hulk Hogan looked like instead of like this cartoonish type of figure. But there's a couple people on Facebook, you can look them up, and they're actually making figures that look like the cartoon, which so far, everything I've seen looks great. So those are two different orders, but I did get a lot that I just got today. This is a program. Now this is from the same era because that's Cyndi Lauper. And this was right when the Rock and Roll Wrestling was basically getting started. So this whole little lot is all about that. But
that's when Roddy Piper and Lou Alzada was in her music video.
Captain Lou Albano.
Lou Albano, sorry.
But this program, I picked it up for multiple things. I love looking at seeing the old merchandise that they used to sell. Besides having the card from that night. So it was very cool. This is back when, Sergeant Slaughter was still a good guy before he switched to being a heel. And he was all USA. And it's just a very cool program. It's like a snapshot in time. But this is all part of a lot that I picked up. You guys remember the old carnival glasses? That you can normally, if you pop 3 balloons, you were able to win a glass. Normally it was like a rock band, because I still have my 2 Guns N' Roses ones that I won as a kid. I actually still I still have this one, but this was just part of the lot that I bought. So I figure I'll probably figure out which one looks better and keep that one and flip the other one. caught a couple of LJN posters. Now, when you bought an LJN figure, they had a poster wrapped up underneath the wrestler. So I got Andre the Giant. And these posters, people are collecting these posters now too. So these posters are going crazy on prices. Got an Iron Sheik. I've got probably about 15 of them. Of course, there's like 32 or 52. But those are just adding to my collection. And then another thing I got was a merchandise catalog. And these catalogs are great because, again, they show what merchandise they are selling at the arenas. It talks about the LJNs, all the pictures, all the shirts of the wrestlers. There you go. You got the Hulk Hogan. Of course, I got him in the back. And then all the LJNs. But very cool. I haven't gone through it yet because I just got that package today. Another thing that I actually went on Facebook Marketplace and got was this big ass book all about the Ultimate Warrior. Now, this was actually published after the Ultimate Warrior's death. They put this tribute book together, shows pictures of all his great tag teams that he had. This is two of my favorite guys, Ultimate Warrior and the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. But all of his big matches, they got pictures. That's him winning the belt, the heavyweight belt. This is so cool because they even have an old school mask that came in the book. Everything that was supposed to be in this book is in it. They even got like a photocopy. Let's see if I can find it here real quick. Of his wrestling license. And, Bobby and I both get wrestling licenses every year because you got to requalify every year in order to be able to wrestle in the state of Missouri. And his license is in here. I don't know if I can find it. But it's just kind of cool seeing all this. Like I said, it's a snapshot in time of all about the Ultimate Warrior. And Marketplace I got for $20. So very cool.
Not bad, dude. That's probably close to what it cost when they put it out.
Yeah. And I was kind of shocked at that. One more wrestling related item came today too. This is from a line that I just started collecting, heels and faces. They have a brand new product. It's Macho Man. It's kind of cool. It's got some glasses. It's the Macho Man has like the fringe coat that he used to wear all the time. This just came in the mail today, so I haven't got a chance to open them up yet. But something that Bobby will probably like, I picked up at Five Below. Bobby, do you remember the movie Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
It's one of my oldest favorite horror movies.
Five Below has these small little miniatures, but this one is Fatso. But
So I know who Fatso is.
and then Shorty, they had them all. They had all 5 clowns. But if you've not seen this horror movie, it is a very cool movie to watch. It's different, very different, and just the name and the title, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
And their cotton candy gun.
Yeah, their cotton candy gun, and was it Spiky? But I thought it's a cult classic movie that I enjoy watching whenever it comes on. I don't own a copy of it, but very cool, and I was kind of glad to see those, and I picked them all up.
I don't know if they still are, but there's talks of doing a sequel finally.
Oh my God. Talking about a movie that needed to be done, but 20 years ago.
It didn't need to be done.
It needed to be done because
Now, if you wanted an Ice Cream Man too, I could get behind that.
just imagine what they can do with the CGI, nowadays with Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, but what made it so great is it's the practicals. That's what made it great.
The cheesiness with how it all looked.
Yeah, but I still think they can do it cheesy, but just the way that they can do it with all the special effects now, I think it'll be really cool.
I say it's weird. Like with my oldest, his favorite horror movies are like that and Terrifier. Two extreme opposites.
Yeah, Terrifier is just way out there. I've never seen a full movie of them. I think I started last year. I watched half of part 2, and I know I think they just released part 3 now, like the 3rd edition of the movie. That's the one with Chris Jericho, right?
I haven't watched 3. I only watched the first one with him.
Ah.
I'll probably go back and watch the other ones, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, so I think part 3 is the one that Chris Jericho is in, because I think that was the big announcement like last year that Chris Jericho asked to be in the movie. He wasn't offered a role or anything. He asked to be in it because evidently he's such a fan of that movie. But on different topics of movies, Braun Strowman is in talks to play Jason in the new Jason movie. So that would be kind of cool. Because Braun Strowman is a big ass.
That makes more sense because I thought it was the Jason TV show they were talking about doing, which was more of him as a kid. It's like he can't be that as a kid.
Yeah, so there's
considering it was originally his mom that was a murderer anyway, so the kid had nothing to do with it until the second.
When he was a kid and died in the lore, he was like the little scrawny whatever kid. Braun Strowman's not a little guy.
Right. No. But
all right, that's time, guys. Our 45 minutes is up.
All right, well, perfect. We'll just end with there's talks, and if you're a horror fan, there's still talks that there's going to be a Freddy versus Jason part 2, which I'll be the first one in line to buy a ticket to that. I really love both of those franchises.
With rumors of bringing other horror killers into it.
Yeah, that would be great if they do, because there's talks of Hellraiser being in it, and Pumpkinhead, and it'll be just so cool. I love horror flicks like that, classic horror flicks. Didn't really get behind Terrorizer or whatever that's called, Terrifier, but
then we need to do wrestling with horror movies then.
There we go.
We need to do for it. And remember, when we do that, you guys got to get on your laptops, and then you have to pin it so it's a big screen instead of the little squares that we usually have. That way you can see it completely.
On the laptop right now.
Yep. So if you go over on the side, I got the right side, you click that 3 buttons, you click on pen, and then it'll bring your screen maximize and everything else will be little.
Oh.
And that's the way we'll do it when we go to do.
With mine, it's even easier than that. If I scroll my mouse over a thing, it's got a picture of a push tack pin. I just click that.
Yep, you can do it that way too.
All right, gentlemen and fans of this podcast, if you like the topics we go over, or if you like the toy sections or any part of the podcast, please give us a like and a thumbs up and subscribe. Again, we're a small channel. We've been rising in the ranks with subscribers, and you guys seem to love the shorts. We really need some help behind the podcast, though, because that's what's actually driving us getting together, and that's what we want to drive in the YouTube channel. But definitely thank you for the views on the shorts, because that's keeping us relevant. But please get behind the podcast and give us some likes and comments. It helps small creators like us get back in line with the algorithm and get seen. So please do. Anything else, guys?
No.
I think that's it.
All right. Again, this Saturday, we're at Breeze. Doors open at 6, shows at 7. Bobby D is cleared to wrestle. I'll be there wrestling. And the main event, Glenn Williams versus Sean Vincent in a strap match. So till next time, we'll see you at the wrestling shows. Have a good night.
Get down to Breeze and hit some people.
That's it.